Now, for a channel that's called Andy Boy Comics and Toys, that mostly does movie reviews, you'd think I'd have some superhero movies or some comic book movies in there once in a while, right? Well, unfortunately, they're kind of few and far between. I don't know why that is. I mean, for years, I've enjoyed all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies and even some of the DC movies. Not all, but I haven't really gotten around to reviewing any of those. I mean, I did review the Batman movies last year. I've also done some Challenge of the Super Friends, Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. But yeah, I haven't really gotten around to those big name, big budget MCU tentpole movies. I mean, it's not that I haven't seen them, but I haven't reviewed any of them. Well, here's one that I saw just this year. This is Fantastic Four: First Steps.
It's cooperate time.
Fantastic Four: First Steps came out in 2025. Yeah, I happily saw this in the theater. Enjoyed it thoroughly. Didn't want to give a review just yet. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that puts stuff out like the day that it comes out, and then I got to worry about like spoilers, or run to the movie theater to go see a movie that I may or may not really want to see all that much. Yeah, so I didn't post anything then. When I first saw it, I like to stay out of all that controversy too, because of course there's a lot of heated comments and things like that when any of these movies comes out. Yeah, so I thought I'd hold off. And then I was scrolling through Disney Plus the other day and I was like, you know what? I really like that movie. I'm going to watch it again. And so I watched it on Disney Plus. Yeah, that's right. They're still milking me. They're still getting my money. And I think I enjoyed it more the second time. Because I was a little wary when I first saw it in the theater. I was like, here we go again. This is the third version of the Fantastic Four that we're going to have to have seen in the last, 15 years? And I actually quite enjoyed the 2000s Fantastic Four. I enjoyed both of those movies. Yeah, they got problems with them. They got flaws. They're not perfect. They're not very close to the comic books, or they deviate from the comic books in ways that people didn't like. I enjoyed them. I found them funny, and for the most part, pretty exciting. Maybe one day in the future I'll review those movies. Fant Four Stick, or the Josh Trank reboot of Fantastic Four that came out. Yeah, I didn't care for that one at all. I didn't like what they did with the characters, especially Doctor Doom. Oh my god, so not what that character ever was in the comic books. But that's not usually my biggest complaint. My biggest complaint about that movie was just freaking boring as hell. Of course, we saw John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and that got everybody excited about thinking that, hey, he's going to be the new version of Mr. Fantastic. This is going to be the new Fantastic Four in the MCU. Great. And they pulled the rug out from us on that one. But this new version of the Fantastic Four, I think, finally got it right. My one complaint about this version of the Fantastic Four is that Mr. Fantastic never had a mustache. Or at least not that I can remember from the comic books. But I think I can get over it. I don't know, it's a major change. I mean, I'm not looking for 100% comic book accuracy in this movie. What I was looking for was a good superhero movie, a good version of the Fantastic Four, the do-gooders, the ones that are truly trying to better humanity, and they go fight space monsters, so down here on Earth we're protected. That's kind of the vibe that you get from this movie, because the Fantastic Four are like the good guys in this one. They're not the bad, dark Avengers that we're looking at right now, or the ones that would bicker all the time, like Iron Man and Captain America, and they're family. Scientist and his wife and her brother and their best friend, they all go up into space, in a rocket ship, just like they did in the comics, and they get bombarded with cosmic rays, and they come back down to Earth, and they have superpowers. They use their superpowers to help humanity, to fight crime, and to also better society, you know, with all their technology and everything, and this future foundation. It's like, it's set in a time period that who knows what the year's supposed to be, but it's in an alternate dimension where the Fantastic Four go out into space, and they become not only like the biggest heroes of the world, but they're also like kind of the government too, or something. They make all these big planet-wide decisions. So it's set in this kind of utopian world where the Fantastic Four help out in any kind of like global disasters or anything like that. It's like this just ridiculous concept, but it's kind of like the comic books were. And I like how it comes across here. I like the concept of good heroes, not anti-heroes. I'm sick of anti-heroes. I'm sick of the Punisher and even Wolverine and Deadpool. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love those movies, but it was nice to see a refreshing change where it's like these guys are actually heroes. They're heroes for the good of all mankind, and humankind rather, sorry. And there's somebody out there looking out for us, and positive. It's a positive, uplifting movie. I think more than any other MCU movie that I've seen in a long time, this is a feel-good movie. I mean, some people don't really care for the casting of the Fantastic Four. I certainly have no problems. I think they all did really well here. I mean, the dialogue isn't too stupid, and it's not too jokey. It doesn't get into like Guardians of the Galaxy territory, and it's not like, you know, they don't all talk like Captain America or Batman, you know, and it's not super serious, but it's not super jokey. It takes its subject matter as seriously as it needs to. I love the tech and the style of the world, and you know, the retro futuristic, like 60s futurism kind of look to everything, which is appropriate because, I mean, that's when the Fantastic Four first came out, was in the 60s, and that's how all the comics were drawn, was in a style like this. Oh, when it comes to the characters, I mean, I love the fact that they brought back Herbie the Robot. You know, Herbie the Robot. Like, I don't know, if you were a kid like me and grew up in the 70s and 80s, like, there was an old Fantastic Four cartoon where they decided that they didn't want to put the Human Torch in there because they were worried that kids were going to try and emulate the Human Torch and set themselves on fire. Did that ever happen? Like, I don't think so. I mean, that's like saying, well, you know, kids might try and emulate Superman because he can fly, and they might jump off buildings or something. Who knows? But to take that character like right out of there, I don't know. Well, anyway, Herbie the Robot was stuck in there to fill in the void left by the Human Torch not being there, because kids are going to set themselves on fire. And, you know, since then, you haven't really seen him. I mean, I guess he was in the comic books, maybe in the 90s, I don't remember, but they did bring him back in the comic books. I mean, he's not a full member of the team, but seeing as he was actually one of four back in the day, now he's like the butler. I don't know, I like Herbie the Robot. It was a cute little gag right there. Especially because they've got like his eyes are made of like reel-to-reel tapes. They're at home in the Baxter building, and there's a tape in there that says home. And then they're going into outer space because they got to go find Galactus or whatever. So they put a tape in there, and it says space on it. All right, this is all the program you need on this little magnetic cassette. This is all you need, Herbie. You got the entire space software package there. Yeah, so there's parts of it that are really silly, parts that are really serious and really deep, and I guess the storyline as a whole, I mean, you know, the Silver Surfer comes down to Earth, and they have to negotiate with the Silver Surfer to try and stop Galactus from coming to Earth and devouring the planet, because that's what he does. But there's like a twist on that, because like the Invisible Woman is pregnant, Sue Storm. She's going to have Reed's baby. Reed Richards, of course, Mr. Fantastic. Galactus, when they do meet Galactus, knows this, and he wants the child because the child has cosmic powers. And if the Fantastic Four give up their child, then Galactus will not devour the Earth. So they have to make that decision and make that choice. Deep philosophical, and it's like, well, she doesn't want to give up her child. What mother could make a sacrifice like that? But if it means sparing the Earth, and you guys are the protectors of Earth, so the public kind of sours on the Fantastic Four a little bit because they won't do that. They won't give up their child to save the Earth. It's quite the pickle. But of course, being a superhero movie, being the Fantastic Four, and as fantastic as they are, of course they're going to get out of this situation. They use, science to their advantage, and turns out the science doesn't really work the way that they wanted it to. Reed Richards has this idea to build these broadcast towers that are going to create this invisibility shield around the entire Earth so that Galactus won't even be able to find it. Well, that doesn't work. But they do have, a bit of a backup plan. But Galactus does come to Earth, and I think the effects are fantastic on here. Much better than in this one, where they had a cloud. Galactus was a cloud. No, we want to see that giant dude walking around, compared to the size of humans and stuff like that. And he's like Godzilla size, right? And so he's walking around in downtown Manhattan or whatever, and in Times Square, they're going to put him in this portal and they're going to zap him back to another dimension or some shit. By the time this movie was over and they beat the bad guy and all was said and done, I wanted to stand up and cheer. I like this movie a lot. There's very little in it that I didn't like. For one, I'm totally fine with the fact that the Silver Surfer is a female in here. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, whatever. The Silver Surfer's always just been this crazy cosmic being with these crazy powers, with a really messed up job as the Herald of Galactus. It doesn't really matter to me that they did a sex change on there. On a technicality, this is a character from the comic books. It's just not from the original comic books. Whatever. Marvel made the movie. They put the millions of dollars out there to make it and put it together. They can do it however they want. I mean, of course they're going to try and make it so that it pleases as many people as possible. A couple of things I didn't like. I didn't care for that beard. The thing was growing a beard and he has to trim his rock face or whatever. That was dumb. I've never seen that in the comic books. I mean, yeah, then again, I only read it in the 70s and 80s anyway. Fine, whatever. It's not enough to ruin the movie for me or anything. Although, also facial hair related, Pedro Pascal's mustache. Reed Richards never had a mustache. What the hell, man? All the characters are good. All the actors acted like the Fantastic Four. Good performances all around. The direction and the screenplay. I mean, all the lines made sense. They did a really good job in this movie. So, is it the best version of the Fantastic Four? Well, that I've seen so far, yeah, I'd have to say it is. Although, as much as I loved Chris Evans and, Jessica Alba in those movies back in the day, this blows that away. Just because, first of all, the technology in movie making is so much better and they can bring us so much more in terms of effects. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I think I'm going to have to go ahead and give Fantastic Four First Steps an A. It makes me want to go back and watch some of the other older MCU comic book kind of movies. Maybe see something in those ones that I didn't really see. The inspirational part of the whole superhero thing. Because that's originally what it was all supposed to be about, right? It's supposed to be about, these people with these amazing powers. And it's not just about their social dilemmas. No, it's about saving the world. And it's about doing things that, maybe normal human beings can't do these things. But if there were people that could, this is what they should be doing. I was actually quite surprised. I wasn't expecting to like this movie as much as I did when I first saw it. But yeah, I'd have to go ahead and say it is fantastic. So it gets an A. I mean, it's this close to an A+. I guess it's just that mustache. So maybe sometime in the future I will get to some of those other superhero movies. I'll let you know. Anyway, until the next video, have a good one out there, everybody.